Today on the Dad the Best I Can show.
My struggle has been like if my phone is in my pocket and it even has the apps like Facebook and Instagram, I struggle with that self-control. So, I could be watching a movie and just pick up the phone and just scroll through and I don't want to, and I hate myself for doing it, but I just do it. So I like recently I kind of stumbled upon this thing called social media fasting or social media intermittent fasting. So the same principle as intermittent fasting. There's just blocks of time where the phone has no apps that have social media installed whatsoever.
Welcome to the Dad the Best I Can show. My name is Rob Roseman. Who wants to be a millionaire legend? Chicago futures trader, Vegas poker pro. Now I'm a dad to 3 kids, ages 7, 5, and 1. Phew! Wears me out just thinking about it. Each week we're bringing on high-performing dads like you, entrepreneurs like Jesse Itzler, CEOs like David Cancel from Drift.com, athletes like Ken Rideout, best-selling children's authors like Zach Bush, to tell us your stories, your dad tips and tricks to help all of us make it through dad life. We have a brand new website over at dadthebestican.com. Go on over to dadthebestican.com and sign up with your email. It's 100% free, of course. And be the first to hear brand new dad guests and get weekly 2-minute dad tips in your inbox. How else are you going to keep up with the roller coaster that is dad life? So stop what you're doing, unless you're driving. Take 5 seconds, go over to dadthebestican.com and sign up now. All right, welcome to the Dad the Best I Can show. We are lucky to be joined by Mike Barnhill. Mike is the co-owner of Specialist ID. They are the ID badge holder kings of the internet. Mike also writes music, he sings, he plays guitar, and of course, the main reason he's on the podcast, he's also a dad. How's it going today, Mike?
It's going fantastic, Rob. I'm so glad to be here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being on. Where are you calling in from today?
Beautiful Atlanta, Georgia, where we had a tornado warning this morning, but everything is okay.
Really? I didn't even know that. I'm glad I don't check the news. It missed us.
Yeah, it missed us. We were okay, but we got like some weird warning thing on our phone, and so we jumped out of bed and ran downstairs, and everybody's good.
What is the protocol for a tornado? My 5-year-old, he's very concerned about this. He's told me he had a nightmare the other night if there's a tornado. What should we do? I'm new here.
Allegedly, and we're learning too, is you go to like the lowest room that has no windows, and my wife was convinced that we should bring like a safety kit with contacts and comfy blankets and things like that. So apparently comfy blankets are important too.
All right, good to know. We'll be in the basement and they'll be playing Nintendo, so they'll be happy.
Perfect.
So Mike, you are a dad. How old is your kid?
My son is 7.
7. We just had a 7-year-old birthday. That is is there a better age to forget being a dad to? Is there a better age to be than 7 years old? It sounds amazing.
Oh my God, I loved being 7. How about you?
Yes, I think I asked my friend on the show. He's like 7 to 10 is the sweet spot for as a parent because your kids still want to hang out with you. They're interested. They don't have all their cool friends yet. So it's awesome. We're enjoying it.
Exactly.
So, Mike, we connected through 6 Degrees of Jesse Itzler. I think that's a thing now, and his Build Your Life resume course. What is something that you took from Jesse and that you apply to your dad life?
Man, he gave us a lot of good advice. The one that I love that just kind of sticks with me as a mantra, I guess, is if you're going to go, show up. And that kind of presents itself like in anything. If you're going to go to the mall with your family, just have fun. You're at the mall. Be there. If you're out on the basketball court with your son, like be there. Don't be on Facebook. If you're going to go, show up. Be there 100%. So I love that little mantra.
Yeah, it is really good, and it's hard to, it's difficult to do sometimes. But I was just thinking about this the other day, especially with kids. It's like, yes, sometimes you are doing stuff you really don't want to do. But what I was thinking is like the we talk so much about like being present, but I was like, just looking at it another way, I was like, what do we care more almost about the memories of like having a catch with our kid or the anticipation of going to a baseball game with our kids. So like, there are so many good reasons to like, just be in it, be present and do stuff that you might normally, find to be a little bit of a struggle as a parent. But
I'm a big believer in that, and Jesse definitely preaches it.
Absolutely. Any boring thing can be awesome if you go in with that mindset. So yeah, just twisting it around. I love that.
Yeah, so you mentioned this. You mentioned put down the phone, the Facebook. This is something else we started talking about, and I'm sure a lot of parents out there are struggling with screen time, social media, phone addictions. I'm not even talking about for our kids. I'm talking about for ourselves because that's where it starts, right? And
Yeah.
you had a really good take on it that I've started to implement. Can you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on the topic and then your trick that you're using that's helping you get through the day?
Absolutely, absolutely. And my struggle has been like if my phone is in my pocket and it even has the apps like Facebook and Instagram, I struggle with that self control. So I could be watching a movie and just pick up the phone and just scroll through, and and I don't want to, and I hate myself for doing it, but I just do it. So I like recently I kind of stumbled upon this thing called social media fasting, or social media intermittent fasting. So the same principle as intermittent fasting. There's just blocks of time where the phone has no apps that have social media installed whatsoever. So I wake up in the morning, I do my thing. There's no Facebook, there's no Instagram, even on my phone. And then at 1 o'clock, when I like have my lunch, I can install then, get my password, go through the pain in the butt to get all that stuff set up. And just having like that roadblock of having to do those steps is helpful for me because it takes my brain away from just reacting. So yeah, I install it. I do some things on social media, and then after lunch, I just uninstall, and then try not to get on again. Hopefully for the rest of the day, but that's for me. That's been huge because like my brain can just crave dopamine hits like the rest of us, right? Like just something's happening. I need to seek, and so by doing this, I kind of like am able to I guess leverage that craving for dopamine. So my mornings I'm doing more productive things that are more meaningful. So yeah, and then when I am with my son watching a movie or playing basketball, the phone isn't even an option. So it's been really helpful. I'm enjoying it.
It's a great tip. I started using it on Sunday. I almost like spite deleted it, like cursed, looked at it, and I was like, I'm done with this thing. And I just deleted it. And it was like that relief, which was like kind of a bad sign. I'm like, if this causes me so much joy to hit delete on here. But yeah, like you said, it creates a little bit of friction. And right, if it's in your pocket, you're going to check it. If it's on there, you're going to
Mhm.
check it. So this is a neat trick that I've started using, and I do highly recommend it. I guess the struggle is, and this is something I'm sure you can relate to being a business owner, is, well, you've got to be marketing your business. You've got to be on social. You've got to be putting
Mhm.
yourself out there because there's this like, now it seems like your personal brand is almost as big a part of your business as what you're selling. So it's confusing. And I'm like you, I was never really, I mean, social media definitely affects me, but I was never really on it until I started, podcast, a company, things like that. So I'm coming from a different place where I'm trying to, how can we use it mindfully? So maybe that tip you gave, and I don't know, it's just a topic I think about a lot, and because I want to kind of figure it out, so eventually when my kids are on these things, I can speak from a place of, here's a good technique to use instead of don't use this, or that's just the way things are today. Go Instagram your life 24 hours a day, right?
God, I am 100% there with you. I'm trying to do some music things and help my dad promote some things, and so yeah, I kind of need it as a tool. And I actually had a great conversation with Fritz from, I don't know if you know Fritz from BYLR, but he's got a whole strategy where he whiteboards his week's social media posts, and rather than look, and then he does the same sort of thing, blocks of time, but very intentional about what he's going to do when he gets on there. It's all planned out in advance. And then rather than checking his notifications, he actually checks his own page for interactions and just interacts directly there, so he's not lost in the notifications. And those three tips he gave me, I thought, those are really cool things. So that's he's a good guy to talk to too.
Yeah, that's helpful to hear. I'm definitely gonna pick his brain because it is. It seems like there's people that are, they're either off of it completely, which I do admire in a lot of ways, or they're all in, which, I'm not trying to judge, but I don't know how. I mean, let's be honest. I think forget between your attention and your sanity, I think it affects you. So any like, it's good to hear other people that are struggling with this and that are kind of figuring out techniques to use it more mindfully. I think that's going to be the key.
Absolutely. To be able to use it as a tool and not get lost, like that's the big conundrum now once you've kind of regulated your time spent. So yeah, I think we're all trying to figure this out.
Nice. Well, it's always good to hear from other people. I think that's especially with a podcast like this, dads, we're all winging it. We're all figuring it out as we go. So hearing other people struggle with similar problems, I think is helpful.
Yeah.
I have to give a quick plug to this book that we both read, stumbled upon, called How to Fight a Hydra. And I was like, what? Somebody else has heard of this book? It was fantastic. And I highly recommend it to anyone starting their own business or, being a dad. I read it with my kid. You read How to Fight a Hydra and enjoyed it, Mike?
Oh my God, I love that book. It's so much that I decided to rename my band Hydra Fighter, like just because like the power of this story connected so much to, I guess, like what I feel like I'm going through. Yeah, and I love the book, and my son reads it to me before we go to bed. So it's been life changing. Actually, it's a good one.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about it. Why your son likes it, why you like it. It's a really cool take on just life, but it's told in a really cool way, right?
It really is. I guess, it's based on the old, like an old parable or an old, just like an old legend. But it's written by a guy who writes business books. So it's like perfect for creative entrepreneurs. Like it's the book. Yeah. And you could probably explain it better than I could, but it's, basically, a man who feels called to go fight this Hydra, and the Hydra is this deadly beast that nobody wants him to fight, and everyone says, well, you're safe. You're okay here. Just stay here. Don't go off. Don't do this thing. But it calls him. And for years and years, it calls him. And, the Hydra can be a metaphor for whatever it is that we want to do in this one life that we have to live. And, so he goes off and he fights the Hydra, and the Hydra's a different beast because when you cut off one head, it grows another one, or it grows two more actually. So you have to be very strategic. And to me, that's a metaphor too for, you have, these battles that come up in life, and you can't just tackle them one by one. Like when you tackle one, you have to figure out how to keep that from coming back. So, life is just one big Hydra fight. But also there's just so much beauty in going off and doing what you feel like you're called to do, So I loved it. It was crazy good.
Yeah, that's a beautiful summary. And I probably like yours, since I have a 7-year-old son, we were reading it's a really quick, easy read. That's why we liked it. But, he's like, so you have to put fire on the Hydra. It's like a cool, fun tale. And right, there is metaphor behind it. But my kid's really just into like how to slay a dragon, and learning about this thing. And now we can even talk about like, oh, that like math test that you had, that's like your Hydra. You gotta, put your torch on it and take it down.
Exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, you nailed it.
Super fun, and that's awesome that you renamed the band. That is great. I saw you with the shirts, and I was like, "What is he promoting the book?" He's like, "No, that's just your band." Awesome.
Yeah. I feel like it's more just something that a lot of people, I guess, in our age and our situation can relate to. So it's almost like an identity that I've just claimed as my own as a Hydra fighter. And there's a ton of us out there.
Super badass. Yeah, I love it. I actually sent that book to Jesse to read with his son, and he was like, "This is amazing. Thank you." And that's kind of how we got him on the podcast. He was like,
"Oh, wow."
So, yeah, it was really cool. Sending a book, secret trick for people out there. If you'd like to connect with somebody, send them a book you really like. And I think they really appreciate it. You sent me Habits of a Happy Brain, and I'm already feeling a little happier or more confused. I'm not sure.
Yeah, both. Figuring it out. That's awesome.
Let's take a quick break for our dad tip of the week, brought to you by Kickstart Reading. Do you have kids between the ages of 3 and 6? I've got 2 boys, and when my older son was going into kindergarten, my wife and I quickly learned that we had no idea how to teach him how to read. We found Kickstart Reading and watched one 2-minute video together, and you could see his confidence take off. Bonus, I felt like Dad of the Year. Here's another dad talking about how Kickstart Reading is helping his boys learn how to read.
Hey there, this is Chris Heller, and I'm a big fan of Kickstart Reading. Each morning before school, I show a video to my 4.5-year-old son, and now his little 2-year-old brother is getting in on the action as well. I'm a big fan of the videos, highly consumable and engaging for young boys. Definite recommend for all parents out there who are looking to get their kids off to the right start with reading. Kickstart Reading.
Go to kickstartreading.com and use the code DAD to get 65% off right now. That's D-A-D, DAD. See? It works. kickstartreading.com. Now back to the show.
So, Mike, you are a dad to a 7-year-old. We like to do a dad tip of the week. Do you have a tip for other dads out there?
I do, and this isn't from mine. I heard this 2 days ago, but it was from a guy named Chad Sanchagrin, who I know you've spoken with before, actually. And he has this, and I heard this 2 days ago. It's brilliant. And, you know, when we tell our kids how much we love them, and then we try to get them to say positive things about themselves, that can be kind of challenging. So what he does, he reframes it, and he says to his kids, and I've said now to my kids, to my son, I love you so much. Tell me why. So rather than asking them to tell you what they love about themselves, which is a challenge, you kind of help them see themselves through your eyes, knowing that how they love you, that you love them so much. They're easier. I guess it's easier for them to see what's spectacular about them. So I've been trying that with my son, and it's been amazing to get him to say positive things about himself that he wouldn't have otherwise, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. What is an example of what we've tried it in our house too, and it got a little confusing. It was like, because you're my parent, you have to. What are some things your 7-year-old said when you presented that to him?
So yeah, he said, he said the other day, I said, I love you so much, Logan. Tell me why. And he says, is it because I'm sweet? I said, absolutely, it's because you're sweet. And he says, I said, how about something else? And he said, it's because I never give up. And I was like, yes. And then I was able to say it to my wife right next to him too, and ask her, I love you so much. Tell me why. And she said, because I'm a good mom. And we had the greatest breakthrough conversation because of that there. So it's been powerful. So I love you so much. Tell me why.
So good. Chad is awesome. And it's such cliche, we're just like, I love you. It's to tell your kid, and you want them to say it back. And it's like, what's the point of this? It's almost like out of obligation. So just like adding a few words and getting your brain to think a little differently. I think it's super empowering as a parent and for your kids.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree.
Mike, this was awesome. Tell us a little more where we can find out about what you're doing.
Sure. Yeah. The only thing I care about doing online these days is my band, the Hydra Fighter. So you could look up Hydra Fighter anywhere, and starting to put some music up there and doing a lot of music with my son. So yeah, Hydra Fighter online is all I'm trying to talk about.
I love it. Is that your brother that you're playing with? I saw you doing Hallelujah with a couple guys. Is that your band, your brother? Who is that?
Oh yeah. That was our old group, just playing with friends. But yeah, same guys. Hydra Fighter is myself and whoever wants to play with me. So
awesome.
Whoever wants to join.
All right, Mike. Thank you for being on the Dad the Best I Can show. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Rob. It's been a total fun pleasure. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for listening to the Dad the Best I Can show. Go take 5 seconds, hop on over to dadthebestican.com and sign up with your email to get weekly updates, dad tips in your mailbox. Get your questions answered on the show. That's dadthebestican.com. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and leave us a 5-star rating on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. Actually, 5 stars. We could do better than that. Brooks? Infinity stars. Cameron? How many stars?
Infinity 1,000.
Infinity 1,000. You gotta one-up them in this household. Thanks. See ya.